When you arrive at Bosco, you find a spot on campus and sit down, waiting for class to start. Watch all the Bosco Braves talking and hanging out with each other. Everyone looks nice and friendly, but yet there's a separation among students, and has a much wider range than we think. Separation is the most fundamental component of discrimination and has affected our community, but has gone unnoticed. Follow our pace and you'll see the discrimination within the students. Discrimination is created through a gap from either you or others toward you. More concisely, it is isolation. Either when you are on your electronic device or choosing teammates when playing competitive video games or sports, you are isolating yourselves from others because you want to ignore the outside world by engaging deeply into your device or wanting to win by choosing a better teammate. With the device, you might ignore someone who is trying to communicate with you, and with choosing a better teammate, you push away the people who are trying to get involved. There is also discrimination taking form in an academic aspect via getting bad grades or taking lower level classes, which creates isolation between AP and Common Core students. We can all agree that games are fun whether it's taking place on the screen or on the field. It is always fun to play competitive games with friends, but maybe sometimes we don't realize that there are other students that are sitting on the desk, watching them playing the game. Sometimes people might just try to ignore everything that is surrounding them. Consequently, the exclusion has created the discrimination that affects the students who don't have good skills.
If you had a choice to refuse someone as your teammate because you think that they're not good enough, would you do it?
It depends. If we're playing for a serious title or if we're playing for like a serious game that matters for our record or like that. If it's a game that matters, yes.
Would you refuse someone as your teammate because you think they're not good enough to be on the same team as you?
Absolutely. Yeah, I don't even care about this. Like, if you suck, like, you're not gonna be on my team, bro. Like, I'll talk to you, like, in the party, but like, you're not gonna bring my team down. Screw you.
While I'm in the game, let's say this is competitive, then obviously, like, my goal is to win.
Now as you see, students are still playing games in class, and the match is now being spectated with more students, and looking closely, you will realize that they are still playing without a break in concentration, despite the new crowds, and they isolated themselves and excluded others by not talking to anybody. Playing competitively results in exclusion of students, and proves the existence of isolation. Therefore, discrimination starts to show up because the students behind them never got a chance of playing the games. From these interviews, we see that in a serious competitive setting, students choose to exclude others based on skill people have. Usually the better skilled players remove the lesser skilled players from the team in order to increase their chances of winning. Eventually the ones left behind when it comes to skill are also left out by the crowd. We all have had the experience of walking around the campus holding an electronic device in our hands. We distract ourselves from others and focus on our devices, disregarding our surroundings. Notice this guy. He doesn't even realize that the camera was on him until the last second when he was walking towards the camera. He misses out on creating social interactions with people currently around him and isolates himself to his phone.
How often are you on your phone?
All the time.
All the time?
Yeah.
Typically doing what?
More 9 times out of 10, I'm either watching YouTube videos or editing my own stuff.
Okay. And do you care what is around you when you're on your phone? People you walking by or?
No, I really don't pay attention.
Do you care what is around you when you're on your iPad or any other electronic?
No. Why is that? Well, I still have like knowledge of what's around me, but I don't really concentrate.
Use your phone to communicate. That's what the essence of what a phone is.
Okay.
Now, do you use that phone to choose between whether or not you want to participate in the situation that you're in currently, or the situation that you can use by going on social media, Twitter, Snapchat, whatever, and communicate there?
I'd say it's more of a bit of both.
As stated within the interviews, the students use their phone as a quick escape from their immediate social surroundings, isolating themselves from their environment. Most people have experienced a scenario when they are trying to communicate with someone, but they couldn't get a chance to talk to them, and the reason is that clinging to the device creates a social barrier between students that limits social interactions in Bosco. Typically, students try to achieve high academic status via good grades and/or AP classes. Sometimes it is just hard for some people to achieve their academic goals, whereas other people can easily achieve these goals, creating a de facto segregation of students from those who get high grades to those who get average grades. This separation sets forth limitations of social interactions ranging from who you talk to who becomes a part of your social group. However, most of the time, we don't even realize that this separation exists. Do you isolate others because you get higher grades or take higher level classes?
I do, genuinely do.
And why is that?
Just because sometimes the people who are not in higher classes tend to be a lot harder to keep conversations with as a whole, and it's just overall the trying to relate to them is a lot tougher.
When everyone is trying to achieve higher academic success, things become harder because there's so much competition among the students. Unfortunately, for those people who are left behind during the flow of education, they are usually separated by the people who achieve better success. The separation of students causes the discrimination of lower achieving students by higher achieving students who think of themselves as superior in comparison to them. Eventually, some people will choose to hang out with the students that have the higher grade, and therefore this creates social groups and most importantly divides students. Out of the 100 surveys that random Bosco students were asked to fill out, we found out that 66% of students believe they exclude others before, especially when they isolate themselves when they're on their phone and or picking a teammate on a competitive game or sports scenario. The chance of the existence of the isolation is 92% on phones and 60% on competitive games. On the other hand, when students are discriminated by others because they are getting lower grades or taking lower level classes, the likelihood of them getting isolated is smaller, 48.5% when people isolate them, and 33.33% when they isolate others because of their grades. In other words, students will more than likely get isolated when they isolate themselves from others than when others isolate them. Now the classes are over. Hoping that you guys know more about discrimination now and eventually start helping yourself become more open to the public. Remember that it is not always about yourself and your own comfort zone, but it is more important to have contact with others. However, if somebody isolates you because they get higher grades or taking higher level classes, there is really not much that you can do about it. So just change yourself. Discrimination is throughout Bosco, yet people don't even realize its existence. In order to prevent the discrimination, people should really know that it is the isolation that causes the discrimination. By the end of the day, it is really important for us to know that since isolation leads to the discrimination and is more than likely to be created by the individuals themselves than by others, so people should really become more open to others because it will help reduce the chance of people being discriminated against. Hopefully, isolation will eventually be eliminated by us through reducing the isolation of ourselves.